Oh, 1 minute. Yahoo Finance live anchors Brian Sozzi and Brad Smith discuss about the recent drops of the bitcoins below the $20,000. Bitcoin now in the $16,000 roundabout.
Seeing that again over the weekend, and as you were mentioning earlier, the crypto markets wish they probably could close on the weekends, but as is the case right now, we're seeing crypto down year to date, or Bitcoin down year to date by about 58%. Don't even get us started on the number of NFTs that have seen that.
Hello, welcome back again in the Bitcoin Thinking channel. Before we dive in the video, subscribe the Bitcoin Thinking channel and turning on the red notifications button so you'll never miss any of our new video like that one. So back to the main topics. Bitcoin dropped below the $20,000, trading at its lowest levels in over a month after stocks sold off sharply as investors pulled back from the risky assets amid renewed concerns the Federal Reserve's efforts to fight inflation could tip into the economic recessions. Bitcoin fell to low of the $19,000 before recovering slightly, trading at the $20,000 as of the late afternoon, down 2.93% over the past 24 hours and off 70.1% from the record high of the $67,000 in November. After losing more than half of its value since hitting record high, more than half of its value since hitting record highs this spring, yet another rude awakening, according to the chief investment officer and the noted Bitcoin bear Scott Miner. Miner told CNBC this morning that he expects Bitcoin to sink as low as $15,000, less than half of its worth currently selling for Bitcoin, continuing a substantial slide since early this year. The real bottom, when you look at the technical, $10,000 would be the real bottom. You know that's probably a little extreme, so I would say $15,000. That's roughly 25% lower than what other analysis believes the likely bottom of the Bitcoin will be, according to the CIO. The comments exemplify a rapid cooling down in the enthusiasm for digital currency, at least that's in some quarters. I think we could pull back to the $20,000 to the $13,000 Bitcoins, which would be the 50% decline. But the interesting things about the Bitcoin that we have seen these kinds of the decline before. Independent market analysis said that Bitcoin price could possibly find a short-term bounce at the $15,000, citing an assortment of the indicators. That analysis suggested that Bitcoin could eventually settle around the $12,000. Analysis Caleb Frenzen explained that the estimated moving average EMA is an indicator utilizes the gauge price over a certain period of the time. According to the Frenzen, if Bitcoin price continues to fall, it will be the first time in history that the 52-week and the 104-week EMA cross below the 156-week EMA. There, the wave in independent market analysis highlights the growing markets for the surrounding Bitcoin, utilizing the logarithmic growth curve. According to the DAV, if the monthly Bitcoin monthly candle closes below the $16,900 Bitcoins, the growth will be detracted using this important long-term metric. Citing the ASOP or in a chain matter, Glassnode analysis shows that the spenders are selling at a 10% loss, something which has not happened since the June 2022 sell-off. The Bitcoin, for the first time since March 2020, hit its lowest point per spent output profit ratio on November 19. According to the crypto client analysis, it is a necessity to touch upon this while considering a Bitcoin on-chain status. He further revealed that Bitcoin's SOPR stood at 0.9% at the press time. The metric hitting a rock bottom implied the most holders sold Bitcoin at a loss. However, it was unlikely the profit rise were held rather than spent. If this was the case, it would be difficult for Bitcoin to exert the declining volume as I discussed earlier. As of shooting this video, Bitcoin's volume had not improved since 18 November. According to the CoinMarketCap, its volume dropped 14.2% to the $23 billion in the last 24 hours. With the most recent crypto market decline, miners have reportedly floated more than 7,700 Bitcoins in a 7-day period, according to the Glassnode reports. This translates to the highest dump by the miners in a 4-year period, leading a sharp decline in their balance. In total, there was 7,761 Bitcoin sold by these miners. Miners' Bitcoin balance was down by 10% in the 7 days, and this bringing their balance to close to a 1-year low. The chart shows that the sharp decline is correlated with the decline in the Bitcoin prices. So miners are continuing to follow historical trends where they hold when the price is on the mint and the sell of their coins during periods of the low prices. The declines in Bitcoin price is the primary reason behind the sell-off being carried out by these miners. Not only do low Bitcoin price affect the profit margins of their mining machines, but it is also affecting investor sentiment during this time. Since investors are still very wary of investing in the crypto, the shares of the Bitcoin mining companies have plummeted significantly. This means mining companies are having to run to their Bitcoin reserves in order to have enough cash flow for their business. Institutionals and the multi-asset investors turned to the crypto market last week, but not in the way the bulls would have liked to see. And now analysts said that these entities took short or bearish bets in the Bitcoin future listed in the Chicago Mercantile Exchange (CME), causing backwardations where future prices are lower than the spot prices. And the market's anomaly has created an arbitrage opportunity as traders aimed to profiting from the price gap in the different markets. Institutional activity in the CMA has blown most, but activity has been heavily concentrated towards the short side. Whittle said in note to clients on the Tuesday, CME's November contract has traded at an extreme discount to spot in the last week. Bitcoin point month, CME futures traded at an average daily discount of around 3.6%. Annualized 43.8% last week, according to the data provided by the Arcane Research. That's wider than the discount seen during the coronavirus-induced crash of the March 2020 and the steepest on record. Let's take out some tweets about that price. Bitcoin is at $15,000. It's a worst-case scenario, but it's not impossible. The officially Binance Twitter with the hands and the emoji of the Bitcoin and the wrote out that, "Hello, $15,000 Bitcoin." TradingView tweeted that with the 2 eyes. Bitcoin $15,000. Bitcoin price has recently fluctuated between the $15,000 and the $16,000. Given the current status of the crypto market, the daily charts of the Bitcoin, the price may move in a small increments. The market has likely entered a new phase of the short to mid-term consolidations as the price dropped significantly. Nevertheless, during the consolidation phase, the price might retest the $18,000, $19,000 region and then continue the bearish towards the $15,000 level. On the other hand, the 100-day moving average starting at the $19,000 also aligns with the broken trend line, making this a static level of powerful resistance. However, a consolidation towards the 100-day moving average and the broken trend line at the $18,000, $19,000 price range will be the most probable scenario for the Bitcoin in the short term. This is the 4-hour chart says that. Typically, the market enters the consolidation phase after an expansion move and forms continuation correction pattern. As the following chart depicts, the price has formed a triangle pattern after the recent shakeout and is about to break the pattern to the top. In case of a breakout, the price will be likely experience a spike. That's it for today. If you haven't already, subscribe the Bitcoin Thinking channel and turning on the red notifications button so you'll never miss any for future fascinating and interesting videos like that one. So see you next time.